Welcome back to the Plug Radio. DJ Kelly Smith, K and Michelle. We are live in the building. Make sure you are tuned in live. We are here with our first guest of the evening, the OG, Shabazz. What's going on? What's going on?
What's up?
Appreciate you coming through. For the people that don't know, plug them in.
Shabazz OG. Radio, DJ Carissimo and Carrie Q. Man, see, you just did this. Like, you just did something that they did to me earlier this week, man. When I went to a whole other situation.
Ooh, did they?
Is that what happened? You tell me to plug in. No, you're supposed to do all of that, man.
So look, Cal. We got Shabazz the OG in the building.
Well, it's them damn donuts, man. I'm not taking donuts. I took donuts to this other place the other day, and they asked me, okay, so what are you here for? I bring donuts here tonight, and then you tell me, okay, well, plug yourself. Plug in. Man, come on.
Everybody plug in. Hey, it's the plug.
Hey, we got look, Cal, this is the first time you're meeting Shabazz, so it's cool. Okay, see, I got the pleasure of interviewing Shabazz before, so now I'm bringing him here. So, this is just what it is. Shabazz, the OG.
I talk about myself too much.
He doesn't like talking about himself. That's all it is.
I'm not answering no questions, but it's a little weird when I start just talking about me off the break and all that.
So look, we got Shabazz the OG in the building.
He's not in the frame.
Oh, wait, we gotta turn it. So what you wanna do, Shabazz? You wanna turn it?
They can see him.
There we go.
You gotta lean in and say.
I'm so bored.
This is my security.
Hi guys.
They really. So they be needing to know what's going on. So.
Shout out everybody on Facebook Live. Not Facebook Live, Instagram Live right now on Shabazz's Instagram Live. Hi guys, how y'all doing? LiveHipHopDaily.tv. So look, we've got Shabazz the OG in the building. This episode I want to kind of call the Game Changers episode. And the reason I call it that is because Cal knows, and Shabazz, you kind of know a little bit because we've just now kind of getting more familiar with each other.
Right.
But something that is a passion of mine that I've been doing with QT Entertainment is trying to bridge the gap between the entertainment world and the community, and using the influence that people do have in the entertainment world to influence the youth, to speak to the community, to do things like that. Because my theory is, if you can go to the club and pop bottles, you can go and talk to the youth. I mean, it doesn't cost you any money to give back.
But everybody that pop bottles not equipped to do that.
Very true. This is true. Very true. They're normally comp bottles.
No. Not even just the comp bottles, but I'm just saying, just because dudes got bread, or just because they pop bottles in the club, or they popular socialites, it doesn't automatically equip them to go and talk to nobody's kids. It doesn't equip them to be the leaders of the community. We can't put that on them just because they popping bottles.
True.
Everybody ain't cut for this.
True. I feel like if you have time to do that, then you should have time. Everybody
time
has
is different.
Time. Everybody has time.
No, time is different. It's the desire. That matters.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true.
Saying?
So, Shabazz, you have a very extensive background with the entertainment industry, as far as like radio, music as well. We just played a video from AR Music as well that you're involved in that with as well. And now you're doing your Is It Worth My Life tour, which is amazing. I've had the chance to work with you on that, and thank you for that as well. But talk a little bit about what made you use your influence on social media, because at first it was kind of like it was serious videos, but they were more funny videos. I remember the first video that I seen from you, I actually reposted. It was about maybe like 2-3 years ago, and I think you were in Miami, and you were on the strip, and you were talking about just because you're standing on the couch, if you're broke on the floor, you're broke on the couch.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the couch don't upgrade your bank account.
That was my first video that I saw of you. Then I seen the Meek Mill video that kind of got more buzz because the Meek Mill and everything that's going on with that. That Meek reposted. So what was that moment for you where you were like, you know what, maybe I should speak more of my mind and what I'm passionate about? Because I never doubted that you've never been passionate about it. It's just something that you hadn't started posting at the time.
Nah, what happened is the platform transition. It never changed. It just transitioned to, because it's still funny videos. I still use my sense of humor, my personality. I mix it with my vernacular. But what started to make it more prolific is the DMs that I started receiving from young guys across the country, Chicago, LA, my hometown, Philly, Miami, like major vessels throughout the country and abroad. Like, I get a lot of love from the UK, Brazil, Africa, like young dudes that's from what I'm from, that understand and relate to what I be talking about. So when I started receiving those type of DMs, like, yo, I don't got no OGs, I don't got no big homies, you know, your videos mean a lot to me. You know, I've had guys tell me that they watch my page to determine what they're gonna do in their life. I've had guys tell me they want to get out the street and check back with me months later. Yo, I'm going in the military thanks to you. And things, you know, I started getting females who talking to me about their relationships, and like it just started getting real. It started to really understand that who I am as an individual was making a difference in people's lives for real. Like, this wasn't a gimmick. This wasn't something I tapped into and was like, yo, I'm gonna do this for the gram. Like, anybody that knows me knows what you see on Instagram is really who you get off the gram.
So speaking to you know, the club people, the pop bottles, is there anything you would say to, you know, those who may have the desire but, you know, they're too busy in the club? Is there any way that you feel that to bridge the gap?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. Like, and there's no pun to anybody, but certain people we just gotta stop expecting certain things from and putting certain things on certain people. You know, because some guys, I know, I mean, I got friends in the club. I used to play the club heavy, but, you know, I'm just older and did it. You know, now it's more like party with a purpose and things like that. So I'm not gonna knock nobody that's standing on couches and pop bottles, take pictures and have a good time, enjoy their life, because we did it. I did it. Bonds did, like, we did that. Like, we damn near the originators of it, especially in certain circuits. But I don't knock them. The thing about it is this: a lot of times we put too much focus on, oh, well, you getting all this money, you need to go be doing that. Oh, well, you got time to pop bottles, you should have time to go talk to these kids. When in all actuality, somebody need to be talking to them. Some of them don't got no sense. They not leaders because they got bread. You know what I'm saying? They not leaders because they know how to squirt Moet in the air. They not leaders. They not fit to talk to my son, my daughter, my nieces and nephews. It doesn't mean that they're not good for anything, but even with our entertainers, all our entertainers not leaders because they got bread.
Very true.
You know, people but we so conditioned with money. People associate money with being smart. No, it's some dumb motherfuckers with bread. You understand what I'm saying? So,
it's like, a lot of them, actually.
I don't look at, and I know too many entertainer friends, so I'm not going to use people as examples. But I'm just not going to look at somebody just because they got a lot of bread as, oh, you should be the leader because you got money. Like, we need to understand, everybody was born with free will. People gonna do what they want to do, and you're not wrong if you don't want to go out into the community. You're not wrong for that, because guess what? You may know something about yourself that we don't know. You may know you're not good at that. You may know that you are not equipped for that. So you may decide that you want to give back a different way. We try to tell people what to do too much instead of doing what we capable of doing and let everybody else handle their own business. That's why I say drink water, mind your business. You'll have a long, healthy life.
Absolutely.
So speaking of which, you have come from an interesting background as well, and you weren't always on this giving back path either. And you kind of went through your own life lessons. So what was it that you went through that made you feel like, you know what, I should tell my story and I should let people know that it's possible to do something more with your life?
Well, I beg to differ slightly. I've been this way. You know, giving back, is just a cool terminology, but I always been the guy amongst my friends that they called for advice. I always been a voice. I always spoke my mind. I always was the person you could count on. I always was a guy you could rely on. I always been loyal. I always had integrity, even in the street. When I was running the street, now if you want to say, if we say I changed my life and I'm not out here selling drugs no more.
Exactly.
And
that's
I'm not
what
out
I
here
meant.
risking my freedom. That's a whole different conversation.
Correct.
It only took one thing to happen for me to start thinking about that.
What was that one thing for you?
Going to prison.
Oh.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
now,
that'll do it.
I will say I continued my felonious ways afterwards, but I just got to a point where the ends no longer justified the means for me. Like, I was one of those dudes that really understood, if you get locked, and I said this to myself, if you really want to know a defining moment about hustling, I stopped paying attention to what my guys was getting, And I started looking at where my life was. And I told myself one day, if you get locked up today, if you go to jail today, you're going to be pissed off at yourself. Because it don't add up. The money that's in the tuck, the bail money, the lawyer, it's not going to make sense.
Right.
And I had that conversation with myself, and then after that, it was dead to me. It didn't make sense to me no more. I don't do things that's right or wrong. I do things that make sense.
Okay.
So you have come up with this amazing campaign and tour that you're doing now, Is It Worth My Life? So how did you come up with the Is It Worth My Life tour?
Yes.
The tour itself was the idea of my manager. Shout out to KD McNair, Rain Man. He was introduced to me by my good friend, my little brother Q Parker from 112. They were friends. Long story short, Q introduced KD to my platform, the videos. KD is a branding genius. You know, he's presently working with Heavenly Heart, which is Tori Hart's hair product.
Right.
Shout out to Tori, Rosa Acosta and her Rosa by Rosa fragrance. He's behind that, and he's also behind Mike Epps' new fragrance, ME. So he's behind that as well. So he just saw where my platform could go from Instagram out into the community and really become valuable. So he decided that we would go on tour, you know, just an impromptu tour. It wasn't like a beginning date or an end date and route it. We just decided, listen, he's going to use his relationships. My tour assistant, Shay Star, shout out to Shay, use her HBCU affiliations and relationships. And we just hit the ground running, you know, out of pocket. And in the interim is when, you know, when Floyd came into the picture, after noticing the platform and gravitating towards it and making sure that him and I met. The whole Is It Worth My Life title actually came from a idea, or not an idea, but years ago I used to date this girl, and she at the time I think her son was like 7, and she used to tell her son all the time that life was about choices and decisions. So if he saw somebody doing something that they wasn't supposed to do, or something unfortunate was happening, he would, at 7 years old, he would be like, Mom, choices and decisions, choices and decisions. So that was like 12 years ago, and that stuck with me. Yeah. And when I started thinking about this movement, and I thought about that, I'm like, man, choices and decisions. From your choices and your decisions, you're going to get your results.
Exactly.
And then I started to think, what would happen if some of the choices and decisions we made, if we took the same amount of time and just stop and think, is it worth my life to do this? And that's where Is It Worth My Life came from.
That's good. So a topic that is real important, and I'm glad it's being talked about a lot in hip hop now, that it hasn't been talked about, you know, in past years, you know, about your mental health. How do you feel, you know, about talking about mental health and bridging that gap with hip hop? And now hip hop is talking about it more, you know, being mentally healthy, you know, making sure, you know, you're okay, you know, mentally. Like, people going through a lot, you know, suicides and things like that.
I mean, I think it's cool as long as it's consistent. See, one thing the culture has become renowned for is, if it's hot today, we on to something else tomorrow. So it's okay to bring it up, but then you got to stick with it.
Right.
You got to, if you're going to talk about it, be consistent with it, because to a lot of people it's real. You know, just like when these DMs sending these messages, and you know, Carrie's used to me replying when she's hitting me about issues. You know, I got to stay consistent with that. You know, respectfully. You know, as long as people understand that they're not the only one messaging me, but we have to be consistent, man. Like, it's cool that we bring awareness to things, but sometimes the culture has gotten to a point where a lot of things are fads.
It's coming trendy.
It's trendy. And it's cool today, and you know, I spoke about it yesterday. Like, what you want me to do? I spoke about it already. Like, what you want me to say?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You know, we can't have that approach. Like, if you're going, you know, grab something by the reins and you're gonna ride that horse, you got to, you know, stay connected to the saddle, so to speak.
Yeah, because I feel it's real important. I'm just glad that it's getting more light. Even though you get the trendy thing, but how important do you think it is? You know,
no, it's super important because all it really is like, you know, I come from, you know, it's mental illness in my family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's something that's necessary, especially when you're talking about our culture, you know, and not just black. Like when you're talking about the urban culture, you're talking about the unfortunate, you know, the minorities. Like if you're a minority, you don't just have to be black. So minority people typically face the same issues. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're talking about these things like mental health is important to discuss because a huge part of it is self-awareness and self-love and being in tune with yourself and understanding yourself and knowing why you feel like this. And, you know, thankfully, like I can say this openly, like my mother got 6 children and with her included, I'm her only child that never been to therapy. My mother used to take all my brothers and sisters to therapy. I never went. You know, I never went because I never subscribed to the logic behind it. Because I believe therapy is nothing more than having somebody to talk to about your problems. A. B. Therapy is knowing your internal awareness first and foremost and accepting responsibility for your actions, knowing why you feel certain ways, and not being afraid to approach it and challenge that. Right. I always been like that. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind crying. You know what I mean? I don't mind getting my feelings hurt. I don't mind, you know, I said something funny earlier. I was telling somebody, a lot of people want to be killers, you know, so I'm gonna teach you how to be a killer. So I said, I'm gonna teach you how to kill bad vibes. I'm gonna teach you how to kill bad relationships. I'm gonna teach you how to kill negativity. And I said, I'm gonna teach you how to kill bad relationships. Then I caught myself and said, well, I can't teach you how to kill bad relationships. I can teach you how to injure them because I haven't mastered killing them yet because I got people around me that I know shouldn't be around me. I got people, male and female, that I know, you know, the expiration date is coming. So I can't teach you quite just yet how to kill bad relationships, but I can teach you how to put it in a cast or a sling or something. Right.
Categorize some people and put you over here, put you over there.
Yeah. You got to categorize.
You teach them how to address it, how to address it.
Yeah, I teach you how to address it. You know, you might do some revisitation, you know, but eventually you'll get it. You know, so I mean, that's all mental health is to me. That's just me though. You know, you have some people who wired a little bit more differently, you know, but you know, it's still an important issue to be discussed and be consistently talked about in our culture for sure. Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm scared to ask this question.
Don't be scared.
He's so real with it. I'm so scared to ask this question. So does it bother you when people always want to ask you about the money team?
It don't bother me at all. Okay. What bothers me is this. What bothers me is if you got a half a brain, you see what's going on in our culture.
Absolutely.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? Money done played out. Okay? Like, come on. How much more money we going to talk about? Right. We done pop bottles every direction you can pop a cork. Right. You know what I'm saying? We done put money to the air. We done showed it in the suitcase. We done showed it in the safe. We done showed it under the bed. We done showed the watches, the car. Okay, we get it. Right. Okay? We got a whole generation that's in trouble. And the reason why they in trouble because my generation, Bond's generation, Puff generation, our generation, the ones who started this shit, a lot of us got lost along the way because they was used to selling drugs. Selling drugs ain't really it no more. The new hustles, you got to know how to work a computer. You got to know how to scam. You got to know how to be smart. Like, it's not about drug dealing. So the dudes who only knew how to sell drugs, that don't sell drugs, they get up under the youngins now who know how to do all the new hustles, right?
Yeah.
So what they do now is, I'm 49. You know, I'll use
you not?
I'm 49. Yeah, I'll be 50 in April.
We'll talk about that later. Never do that.
So I get a young guy, 26 years old. He got a Wraith. He got all the jewelry. He popular in the club. Everybody know him. He's that deal. 26 years old. I'm 49. He getting money. I'm not. Now all of a sudden, what's up, big homie?
Right.
You 23 years older than him. but he's big homie.
Yeah. Right.
That's what's wrong with these guys. Mm-hmm. That's what's wrong with the culture.
Yeah.
So to lend more validity to it, it's like they're getting left behind because we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so people are not paying attention to that. Mm-hmm. You know, what needs to take place is it's time to understand how to show them something different. I will never, ever, 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 ever tell nobody what to do to get their money. Because I did it. And I had to learn my way.
Right.
They deserve to learn theirs. Our responsibility is to show them both sides of the coin.
Right.
Just understand, if you're going to go get that bag, as we say, understand either you're going to quit, you're going to die, or you're going to go to jail. Period. And constantly remind them of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and just to ask you your question about the money team thing, it's not that I don't like them asking that question. The thing about it is, when you see what's going on out here, and my management team or somebody like, and will contact your platform and say, hey, we want to bring Shabazz, don't tell me if he brings Floyd. That's stupid to me.
Because that's
where I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's when it gets retarded to me. Don't say, don't see what I'm doing on Instagram. Don't see that I'm being reposted on everybody's pages. Don't see that people are really honing in on what I'm talking about, and I'm being respected. You know, thank God, I'm being respected and taken serious. And you see this. Don't tell me he could come on the platform if he brings Floyd. That's when it gets retarded to me.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Because what happens is, I'm not going to bring Floyd. I'm not going to come.
Right.
I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And it's going to be the old Philadelphia gangster story, JBM, get down or lay down. And later on, you're going to want to see me, and I'm going to charge you $100 million for me to come to your platform.
Absolutely, as you should.
That's it.
As you should.
I'm going to stay on the ground with the independents. I'm going to keep doing this, you know, broadcasting live out the back alley with people who on the ground that get it. Like I put up a post earlier today. Be friends with who are friends with you the way they're friends with you. I rock with who rock with me, man. Period, point blank.
Well, we glad that you came to rock with us today.
Yes, we appreciate you. Man. Appreciate you, most definitely.
That's what I like, man. These are platforms I like to be on, because at the end of the day, I don't do Instagram, and I don't do what I'm doing for validation. You know what I'm saying? I'm 40, like I said, I'm 49. I ran the street since I was 18. I'm somebody. I've been somebody. I ran with dudes that are somebodies. So this don't make me somebody. So I'm cool with dealing with real people. I'm okay if Clear Channel won't let me come to the radio station. I'm okay if Radio 1 won't let me come to the radio station. Because what's going to happen is the people at the top of the food chain,
right,
later on when they say, why isn't he there? And the people at the bottom of the food chain, they're going to get cursed out.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's going to get cursed out.
Exactly.
They're going to, you know, Mr. Giles, Mr. Charlie, Mr. Green, he going to want to know, excuse me, why hasn't this guy been on our show? Right. Oh, well, you know, because he's you know, he well, we wanted him to come, but he didn't have Floyd. Listen, if you don't get him in here, you're fired. That's what's gonna happen, man. I'm telling you. I'm speaking
exactly
that into existence. And I'm telling y'all now, get the checkbooks ready. Get your checkbook ready, and make sure your zeros is infinite. Make sure your zeros are infinite, because I don't know which one I'm gonna let you stop on.
Well, Shabazz, before we get you out of here, I want to ask you this real quick. What kind of influence do you think that you've had through your social media as far as the community? Because that's something that you and Roger have done very effectively, which is why I asked both of you guys to come today, is your influence on the youth and on the media in general through your social media.
I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to speak for me and Bonds both. Because Bonds is heavily affiliated in the industry directly through Puff. Puff is a friend of mine as well. I'm directly affiliated through the industry over a course of time throughout the years. Now, socially and figuratively and popularly speaking, people think that guys like us that be around Puff and everybody, They think we do boys. They think we dick riders.
Right.
From a distance. That's what they think. Because they don't know no better.
They don't know no better, right?
They don't know no better. So they think, they look at us and be like, oh, he just.
Because you can tell a do boy from somebody that really got their shit together.
People who know can.
Right, okay.
People who don't have a mind or think of their own, they just do what everybody else do and say what everybody else says. If they hear one person say it, they just regurgitate the same thing. So they don't get it. So what happens is this. When they done seen me with Trey, Fab, Meek, Bleak, Emery, like they done seen me with the whole industry. So then it starts to be like, okay, same thing with Bonds. We all know the same people. So what happens now is when they see us doing what we're doing, then it turns into, oh shit, he not a dick rider. He do stand for something.
He do have his own mind.
He's a real nigga. Now it's, I'm fuck with him because he like us. I fuck with him.
Right.
I don't, listen, true story. Before we go, yesterday I went to go renew. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm supposed to leave to go out of the country on October 5th. So I knew I've been moving around. I brought my passport with me to renew my passport. I'm go to yesterday down Peachtree, renew my passport, give my little 170. Say be back at 2 o'clock. I'll go back 2 o'clock, get my passport. Boom, they give me a blue envelope. Oh, we can't give you your passport. Child support. So now I know my son, 20 years old, never been on child support.
Right, exactly.
My daughter, 26. I know damn well ain't no child support for her. So I'm like, what's going on? Right. So for whatever the reason, years ago when I was paying child support for my daughter, I thought the case was closed. I owed them another $900. I leave Peachtree, runs right over here to 1526 Forest Avenue. I remember the address. Go take them my $900 immediately. I'm coming out of the child support office. OG. I'm coming out the child support office. See, this is what makes these dudes respect this. I'm walking out the child support office. I got on ball shorts, Adidas with the shoes, laces untied, a wrinkled T-shirt, you know. But I'm on the ground with them. I ain't got no security.
Right.
You know, not yet. You know what I'm saying? But when they see guys like me and Bonds, when we in the street, they see them. When we go speak, they see us. We see them. So that's what makes it different for us, because when they had that misconception, when they didn't know, we made them know by the way we move. That's why now, being associated with us, now, no disrespect to our friends, but now when they see me with Puff, or they see him with Puff, or they see me or him with our celebrity friends, now it's not about them. I guarantee you, I be a dollar to a dime. The people who follow me and support me, if I do an event, they will care less if Floyd came with me or not. Because for them, Floyd is a bonus. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I tell them, like I told these platforms who, you know, they didn't play me, they played themselves, but, oh, you're not going to talk about the Money Team? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to talk about Floyd.
Right.
Floyd came into my life and did something amazing. But he's part of my conversation. He's not my topic of discussion.
Right.
Exactly. It's
that's
a big
what they
difference.
don't get. Yeah.
And that's what they don't understand. Right. There's no way in the world I could talk about anything as relates to my platform going forward without mentioning Floyd.
Yeah.
It's called Floyd Mayweather and the Money Team presents Shabazz the OG. Is it worth my life tour? How can I not talk about him?
Right.
How can I not talk about him? And we're getting ready to launch TMT Digital Networks. How can I not talk about him? Of course we're going to talk about Floyd. Of course I'm going to tell you how we met. Of course I'm going to tell you about that fateful day that God blessed us both and put us together. But we're not going to sit here and talk about how did he get to 50-0? Because I don't know. You got to talk to him.
Exactly.
You got to ask him if he ever going to fight again.
That's not a question for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just as curious as everybody else. Right. I'm wondering how does 850 million start to get low, and you might have to fight again. You got to ask him that. I don't know those answers to those questions, so we can only talk about the champ, but so much in his absence.
Right.
So. That's where I'm at with that.
Well, I appreciate you
once
coming
again,
through,
thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Man, this is dope.
And I know I keep saying before we get you out of here, but I did want to mention the network that you guys are
TMT
starting.
Digital.
Yes.
TMT Digital.
Talk a little bit about that.
Quickly, if you are a minority If you are less fortunate, but very, very driven, very ambitious, this is a platform that's going to be for all of those like-minded individuals who want to push the culture forward. You know, so TMT Digital Network will be a place where you could have your TV show. You could have your food channel. You could have your video station. If you're a marketing expert and you've been in the marketing business and the promotions business, and you're a club promoter, and like, say for instance, my guy Mike Gardner, Phil the Mayor, Lou Oliver in Miami, Sadiq, and these guys, they can show you the blueprint of how to become successful in party promotions. They can have their own channel. TMT Digital Network is going to be nothing short of revolt, nothing short of what BET was when Bob Johnson started it. It's a new network to push the culture forward, where everybody will have an opportunity to have a platform to showcase their talent. That's what TMT Digital Networks is for.
Dope.
So we're going to plug ourselves in on the break. We're going to talk to him on the break. We'll talk about this.
It's going to be about 90 days before all the back end logistics are done, but that's the intention. You know, that's the overall intention. That's what's being discussed at the moment. But the coolest thing about it is all I had to do was have a verbal conversation with Floyd. Told him what I was doing, what I wanted to do. He said, Baz, listen, man, I'm about to eat some popcorn and go in my movie theater and watch Monday Night Football. Man, basically, what are you telling me this for? I done already told you you're good. I done already gave you my logo. I done told you, get off my phone, basically, is what he's telling me. Like, I don't need to be talking to you right now. I called you to say hello. I didn't call you to, whatever you're doing, I done already told you, I'm behind you 100%.
Go do it.
So when you got that type of trust, my responsibility in return to him is to grow his brand efficiently and never ask this man for a dime. Never ask him for a dime, because when you have a relationship like that, that's no different from Puff telling Bonds, look, you could take the bad boy, imprint, you could take the Ciroc imprint, go do whatever you want to do, leave me alone. If Bonds can't take those two things and turn it into some money, then he should go fill out an application at Chick-fil-A or something and go somewhere and sit down. Because he's not capitalizing on that opportunity. See, opportunity is worth way more than money if you know how to capitalize on it. So absolutely, that's what this is for me. So TMT Digital Networks is not for me, it's not for my team, it's for the culture.
We're looking forward to hearing more from TMT Digital.
Absolutely.
Keep us in the loop with what's going on, man. We definitely want to keep everybody plugged in with what you got going on. Absolutely. But before we get you out of here, let the people know how they can follow you on Instagram. Shout out everybody on Instagram Live. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, website information, Christian Mingles, Farmers Only, SugarDaddies.com.
SugarDaddy.com. I like seeking arrangements.
That's a new one. He just gave me a new one.
See, I didn't know that one.
We didn't know that one. Go ahead and play this up, Shabazz.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook collectively are all at Shabazz the OG. ShabazzTheOG. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can get a lot of exclusive footage there, and that's Shabazz the OG TV on YouTube. The website is isitworthmylife.com. And those are pretty much the places you can find me. And also make sure you follow my artists, AR Music, ARMUZIC. You know, his project is coming very soon. Be on the lookout for 13. New single, Whoa, with video coming up soon. And that's about it. Just stay tuned. You know, I also follow TMT Digital Networks on Instagram as well. TMT Digital Networks with an S at the end.
There it is.
All right, guys. It's Shabazz the OG in the building. This is the Game Changers edition of the Plug Live Hip Hop Daily, RIP TV, and of course Fleet DJ TV. We're gonna get into a short music video break, and then of course we've got our second Game Changer of the evening.
Just offering game, baby.
You know, OG offering game.
Offering game, baby. That's what OG stand for, in case y'all didn't know.
Just in case y'all didn't know, you know, offering game out here. So look. Shout out Shabazz the OG for coming through. We got Roger Bonds that's going to come up here. We'll take a short music video break, and we'll be back. It's your girl, Carrie Michelle, DJ Cal, Live Hip Hop Daily, Fleet TV, and, of course, RIP TV. We'll be back.
Keep it plugged.